All right, here we go. It is January 16th. I swear this year seems like it's going even faster than the last one. Not,
Amen to that.
man, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. They say the older you get, the faster it goes. I think I can get in alignment with that. All right. Anyway, I didn't have any formal agenda for this call today, so it is pretty much open to whatever you guys need, whatever direction you want me to go. Anybody got any place you want me to kick off and get started? No? We're silent. We can all go
Hold
home.
on, I was trying to get my microphone over there, John.
Oh, okay. Go
Hey,
for
I
it.
was looking at, I was in Quantum and wanted to made another video. You have to do credits now. When was that added?
Yeah, that was added a while back. And the reason that we had to put that in there was I originally put in, that it was reasonably unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
We had some people that kind of took advantage of the reasonable part of that. Some agencies that were making, hundreds of videos a day. So basically we just put a credit system in, and the credits are really cheap. It's like $6 or something for 1,000 credits.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it takes, I think it takes 50 or 100, 150. It depends on which thing that you're doing, which kind of
Mm-hmm.
video you're making. But it's pretty inexpensive to create a video.
And is it going to be credits to redo the video every time? Because
No,
like you get a lot of misspelled, and now you got to re-edit it and pay another 50
yeah,
credits or 100 credits or whatever.
no, it should just be for the original creation of the video.
Okay.
And then we're adding a movie maker. I haven't
I
act
seen that in there, but I didn't quite understand it. So yeah, you can show it and explain it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I haven't really activated the whole back end of it yet, but it will basically be where instead of just creating a video from, a website or whatever, it'll actually make an animated movie from your script. Like you'll put in a prompt and it'll actually, it can make you like a Pixar type film creation. Really,
That'd
really
be
cool.
cool.
It does take a lot more horsepower to do that. So those generations, I think we're going to have those at like 150 credits on those.
Mhm. Interesting.
So pretty cool stuff. And the other one that we've got, it's not based on credits, but it is a paid module, is the one where it'll make the precision model. And what that is, you upload, yeah, I think it's about 12 to 20 images.
Hmm.
Forget if it's 12 or 20, but you upload a bunch of different images of the same person, and then it will create a model out of that. And then you can use that model in your image generation. Like when I originally created Becky, remember I tried to put different clothes on her and I got a different girl every time.
Hmm.
Like, no, I want the same girl. I just want her in a different outfit. So that's what the precision image model does. It creates the actual persona of the image, and then you can put that in any image generation that you want. Like you could put her riding a horse or, swimming or whatever you want her to do, she'll do it for you, or he, or however you
Tim
want
did a good job of doing that with his gal with the different overalls. That was really cute.
it.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, if that's part of my website image and that I'm using to create now and I'm doing them um, I'm doing them as far as Instagram posts and everything to make her the person of the company. I think we named her Layla or something like that.
If she's your person of the company, you better know what her name is.
Yeah, I have got to go look it up. I wasn't even thinking of what it was. I actually labeled it and I created it inside the Quantum to build a Becky, and then we went on and created images for Layla Carter.
Awesome.
Layla Carter was a farm girl from a small town in Pennsylvania.
That's awesome. Very cool. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, since Quantum is a subscription model, do the credits get restored, refilled every month?
It's actually whatever credits that you have or you buy, they just stay there until they're gone, and then you can buy more.
Okay.
If you go in, like let's say you use up your credits, it might take you 3 months, 4 months to use them. When you need more, you just go purchase more credits.
Oh yeah. So basically, what you're asking Jim is it's not going to automatically ding your card
No,
like Starbucks does me every 3 weeks. Yeah.
no, no, no.
No,
It's
I was just wondering if we get like 1,000 credits and each video is 100, and I do 2 videos the next month, it would go back up to 1,000.
Mm.
no, it's you get like we put into the accounts. I think we gave everybody 1,000 credits originally, and then anything above and beyond that, you just have to purchase your credits.
Okay.
Well,
But
I found that out because it said I had no credit. So anyway,
I, John, I see that as a big deal pricing model change. Am I wrong? I'm not. I mean, normally the subscription per month means you at least get a certain number based on your subscription. It sounds like the subscription only enables you the privilege of buying credits in order
yeah,
to purchase usage.
the quantum subscription basically is for all the tools. It's for the whole tool set. And then on the ones that is really high intense credits, like AI credits, that's the only place where we had to go and put some sort of a credit thing in. Like there's no credits on all the other modules. You can use those, pretty much as you want. But when it comes down to the image generation and video generation, we didn't put any in for image generation. So far, we haven't had an issue with that, with anybody overusing or abusing that one. But on the video one, it really does chew up a lot of resources to do the videos. But as far as the rest of the model, that's really the only thing that changed. All the rest of the modules are all available in the subscription.
And what about for white labelers? How does that work?
So with a white label, you're paying for a white label subscription that I believe it's 97 a month. And then you get 2 free seat licenses, like demo licenses. And then any license above and beyond that, it's a $9 seat fee per license. And then you can turn around and sell it for whatever you want. So the seat fee, the reason that we're doing that, it's a split between ourselves and the programmers that are doing it. So the programmers are supporting the whole system. So half of that goes to them.
Yep, that's all of that's as previously understood. The question is, how does that work and pertains to credits?
So the credits, there's not really any credits in that model. It's basically you're running your own version of the quantum. So people would be purchasing the credits under your white label. And there is a small profit. It's very small. It's under the monetization tab in the white label. And there's several different things in there that you can offer for sale. So one of them would be the credit system. Another one is if you want to actually use the platform to be your billing system and all that, then there is a split in there for that as well. I don't do that. I bill outside through Kartra. And we've got the API where you can use we're using Zapier. So like if somebody comes onto my page, purchases Quantum, we do a Zapier zap over to the Quantum platform to create the user and set up their account. And then it's based on a tag inside Kartra. So when the purchase tag gets applied, the zap zaps, the account is created, the activation email is sent out. And then if someone cancels or their card's no good or whatever the following month, there's an automation in Kartra to remove the customer tag and add a past customer tag, like past quantum customer. When Zapier sees the past quantum customer tag, it goes over and removes the account from the quantum. So
Yep.
that's
All
how
of that
we're
is as
doing
you've explained before. Yep.
it. So
The
that's how
question
we're
is,
doing the billing.
so the white label customers now will be buying credits.
The white, like if you were to white label it, your customers would be buying the credits below you. You wouldn't have to be buying the credits for them.
But
And
and
how
Roger,
would
you
that work?
understand. Roger, you understand the credits are only needed to use like the video tool or something like that. They're not needed for the whole program. You understand that, right, Roger? Are you
I didn't
missing?
until no, he clarified that. I understand that.
Okay, yeah.
So you use the video tool, and your customers, white label customers, use the video tool, and they purchase credits in, let's say, the white labeler's cartridge system. Is there a Zap for credit management?
No, there's actually, that is done within the platform itself. So there is a billing system built into the platform itself that uses Stripe. So let's say somebody comes on there and they sign up to get credits. So the credits go through the Stripe account, which is a white label generic Stripe account. So they don't see some other company that they would go to. So that goes, and then you put in your payment method, like you can put in a PayPal account or whatever, and then your split on that goes to your PayPal account to pay you.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it works. Now you can use the platform itself to collect the billing, but if you do that, because of the Stripe fees and the management and all that, then we're taking a cut of that payment as well to cover all that stuff. But
Got it.
I assume to do the billing outside. Because when you're running that, you want as little as possible cutting into your profits. It does,
I understand.
yeah, it's like when you use Shopify, you're using their billing system basically, but you're paying a lot of fees out for all of your purchases. So that's the biggest thing people don't like about Shopify.
John,
Right.
I thought we were swearing off of PayPal. What are we doing back in PayPal?
It's just a payout method. There's other methods too. But yeah, PayPal, I am not a big PayPal fan. Honestly, I'm not a big Stripe fan either, but Stripe has so much integration power for software developers that it's kind of becoming a necessary evil. It would have cost us, 100-fold development costs to develop it using, our regular authorized net account versus Stripe has all the hooks and it's just like ready to connect the dots. So,
Okay, John, let's do an overlap then. How long and what is it going to take? Because you talked about this almost a year ago about how we can set up our clients and set ourselves up so we can start taking crypto.
okay. I haven't
Hold on.
I have not dove
Sorry, can we
into the
defer
rabbit
that
hole.
one?
What,
Sorry,
Roger?
John. I said that sounds like a deep dive. I'm sorry. I
Well,
just
it's
want to weigh in on everything is rolling out credits. I use video and editing software products that now suddenly have credits to do like repair a video and such. And I'm not embracing them yet. I understand the load of generating video, but I do have to say I'm more with what Jim's impression. I don't want to speak for Jim, but I got the impression, and I feel this way, that each month you pay a subscription, you should get a certain reset of them. So you don't really have to also think about, have I run out of credits? If you've let a month go, you have a baseline number, even if it's a nominal number.
yeah.
Maybe that's not implementable,
Well,
but
you really already get that because it really takes credits to run all those tools, Roger. It's just the video one takes a considerable amount more than we had expected in the beginning. So every month you're getting full access to all of the tools. So if we changed it over and I put a credit system in and gave you a certain amount of credits to use across the whole platform, I could do that. But I didn't want to do that for one thing. So we just put it on the one that was problematic. And quite honestly, a lot of people don't even use the video tool. And the
Yep.
ones that do have never had a problem, paying a little bit extra to use it because it is very powerful.
Yep. I just have to think of a way to frame the pricing discussion so that it's simple, because it's a, unlimited use set of tools, except this one where you buy separate credits. That's doable. I just
And I
was
think
surprised to see that that wasn't announced by you.
and I did announce that, but
Did I miss it?
yeah,
Okay.
I think there was quite a few people that didn't get that one. But
Well, if it
it's
came on the Black Friday one, I didn't get that one.
yeah, it's really inexpensive. If you look at it, it's like $6 for 1,000 credits, and at 50 per video, I think it is. So for 1,000, you get 20 videos for $6. It's
Yeah.
pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
It's
Agreed.
really for the guys that are doing hundreds of videos. It's just to kind of keep the reins on it somewhat. Because
Okay, John,
I
I
didn't
appreciate
want to
that.
I didn't want to have to go back in and redevelop the entire software to put, caps on stuff, and that would have been far more expensive. We would have had to raise the cost on the whole platform to do that. So I'm trying to scale it and build it as economically as possible. And I think everyone would agree that, 20 videos for $6 is pretty reasonable. So, and
Yes.
as
Yes.
far as for Richard, like I personally haven't taken the dive down as far as how do you accept crypto payments into the gateways. Most of the gateways that I know of are not quite there yet. It's going to be soon though. Now, there is a somewhere in the membership a while back, I put a link to somebody that had made a WordPress module to take crypto payments. And again, I haven't tested it, I haven't tried it, haven't played with it. I love the idea of accepting crypto. So once it becomes a mainstream thing and it's easy to do and the bugs are worked out, I will probably want to jump onto that. So crypto is becoming a very large piece of the financial world. It just hasn't shown up on the radar yet, but it's there. It's lurking under the surface. It's about to bubble up. You're going to see it real soon. So, all right. Was there any other concern about the crypto? Is just how to take the payments?
No, that was just is that I know it's not like taking Visa or MasterCard yet, although both Visa and MasterCard are now completely embroiled apparently in crypto. They're
Yeah.
really embracing it, but I haven't figured out how we're going to be able to let people. I mean, we're kind of like the mist ahead of the leading edge of this wave kind of a thing. I understand, but I just wanted to check in, see if you had any updates on that.
Yeah. Well, even though like we're businesses but we to that market, we are still the retail portion. We're not the mainframe. They're working on the mainframe first before they roll it out to retail. And I know we don't consider ourselves retail, but to them we are. We're kind of like the end user. So, but I think you're going to see that stuff pretty soon. And I think when it does roll out, it's going to be fast and furious. Everybody is going to have it. Everybody's going to, demand it, and it'll be a commonplace thing. So it'll be like having a domain name. If you don't have a domain name, you don't have a business online. So it'll be like if you don't take crypto payments, you're going to be out. And I think, as far as like timeline, if I had to guess at a timeline for that, I would say it's this year. I would say we're definitely going to be in this year. There's a couple of things that kind of has been holding it back. The biggest one of all is regulation. A lot of the big providers, the big banking systems, the big financial institutions, they're really, really hesitant. They've got all the systems in place. They've been doing the integration and all the prep work for years, for over a decade, in fact. But they're really hesitant to pull the trigger because of regulation. There's no clear, clean regulation. So whatever they do, they're putting themselves in jeopardy getting sued by the SEC. So they're not interested in that. But as soon as and there's a new administration coming in, and I know some people love it, some people hate it, but all that aside, it's a pro-crypto administration that's about to take the helm. And I think they're going to make priority number one regulation, so they can move forward and they can, have innovation in this country that keeps up with the rest of the world. And once that happens, once that regulation goes into play, you're going to see this stuff come out just mainstream, fast and furious. It's going to be everywhere. And it'll happen. It'll seem like it happened overnight because it's been 10 years in the making. It's just you haven't heard about it yet.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Uh, crypto is kind of a generic term as opposed to Bitcoin, which is, if you will, a specific currency in the context of payments, right? So if, any folks that are like white labeling and looking at this whole issue of taking payments in crypto, there are like 400 or more cryptos in the world right now. People need to be thinking about how are you going to price whatever it is you're selling, so that if you're thinking you want to take payment in any crypto that somebody wants to pay you in, that's not as even after 10 years of playing with it, it's not clear that that's going to be clean,
Yeah.
to my mind anyway.
Yeah, and you're right. There's hundreds, actually there's thousands of cryptocurrencies
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
And the problem is, none of them are really regulated. There's no true, clean, clear regulation in place yet. So that's problematic. But the other thing is, the majority of them, in fact, all of them, are highly what is considered volatile.
Yeah.
Their price can fluctuate an unlimited amount per day because there's no regulation.
Mhm.
And also, the other problem is, most of them, in fact, I'm going to say all of them, are based on pixie dust as far as their actual value. All of
Right.
them.
Right.
There is not a one out there right now that has true, clear cut value for what it is currently. That is going to change really quickly. And the value eventually, like you may have heard, and I know this isn't a crypto class, but I do run one, so I know a little bit about this stuff. What is going to actually bring value to any cryptocurrency is what is referred to as utility. And one of the utilities that is the most measurable is being able to tokenize real world assets onto it. So it's kind of like when gold backed the dollar, you had a certain amount of gold, you had a certain amount of ounces of gold, and you had a certain amount of dollars. And when you did the simple math division in, you got the price of gold based on how much gold was backing how many dollars. That is basically tokenization in its pure form. So what you're going to have is you're going to have a lot of fiat currencies that are digitized because they want to get rid of currency altogether. They want to get rid of fiat currency. They don't want like paper dollars and you know, coins floating around out there. So they're trying to eliminate that. And when they do, they have to tokenize all the value of that fiat onto something, and it's going to get tokenized onto these cryptocurrencies. Now that will be spread across, you know, a number of them. They won't put all assets on any one coin, one token. So, and I can tell you, I can almost tell you in my eyes, this is not financial advice, by the way, but I can tell you in my eyes, they're not going to tokenize any real world assets on any token that does not have ISO 222 compliancy. That compliancy went in place almost 10 years ago, and certain companies were building that compliancy into the rails of all the financial institutions for the last decade. So that 222 ISO compliancy is going to go into play in March of this year. And basically any bank and any financial institution in the world, this is not US here. I'm not talking about the United States. I'm talking about the world platform here. Any bank that in March is not ISO 222 compliant, which means they have all the rails for cryptocurrency in place, ready to do this tokenization and all that, they will no longer be connected to the banking system. They will be out. They will no longer be considered a real bank. So
what does that mean to the people like in a small like you know like a what do they call those things, John? The other kind of bank. Oh my God. It's like for like the teachers union. They're it's something.
Credit
Credit
union.
union.
yeah, they're all the same. Any financial institution, whether
Can they still operate with like cash, or do they have to shut down?
I don't know. I don't really have the answer to that, but they're going to be excommunicated. They will no longer be part of the hub. So I don't know if they're going to get forced out. I don't know if they're going to get, you know, swallowed up, but they're not going to be in a very good position. They probably won't last very long on the outside of that. So that's what's coming. Now, I had always thought that March was a hard date, and I recently found out it's a soft date. The hard date is November. It's like from March to November, that's their last runway.
Get your shit together or die.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, all right, if you didn't believe us before, now you better believe us. Here's your final date. So that's kind of what's coming. And then at that point, now you start tokenizing real world assets onto these cryptocurrencies that are ISO compliant. And that is where they're going to get their value. Just like gold got its value because it was backing dollars. That's where that value came from. So this is how the cryptocurrencies will be valued, and it will also stabilize somewhat their price. Their price will still fluctuate, but it will be tied to real world assets and real world value. So you're not going to have like 20% price swings in an afternoon. So they'll become fairly stable. And at that point, they will be able to be used for payments in business. But right now, you know, like was mentioned, if you took a cryptocurrency and let's say somebody paid you $100 worth, and then tomorrow morning you wake up and it's worth $20, you probably wouldn't be very happy, you know, because you put out $100 worth of value and now you've got $20 in return. That wouldn't be very good. Now, on the other
But wouldn't
hand,
they have to convert it? Like, wouldn't it be like you pay it and it goes to USD conversion? Like, because that would be a stable situation.
You could do that. You could absolutely do that. Like if somebody were to pay you in, let's say, Algorand cryptocurrency. You could immediately swap that into USD cryptocurrency, which is a stable coin that's pegged to the US dollar. Or you could swap it into the Ripple.
Unless you want to gamble with the rise and fall and catch a wave. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. That's a lot of ironing out to do, eh?
Yeah, it's that's up to any given person that's going to play the game. Like some people got paid in stock. Like some employees that started working for Amazon, they were offered, hey, you can either take this salary, or we'll give you a lesser salary and we'll give you stock in the company. They took the stock in the company, and it went up and it went down, and in the long run they were probably pretty happy if they did that. And the cryptocurrencies are going to be the same thing. You guys saw Bitcoin do its rise from nothing to $100,000. So you've seen it, it's possible. The problem with Bitcoin, again, this is just my opinion, this is not financial advice. Bitcoin can never really carry any value because it's not ISO compliant. It will not be one of the ones they're using in the future financial system. It's just not. It doesn't have the capabilities and the rails. It takes too much power to do a transaction.
Bitcoin, John? Bitcoin, you talking
This is Bitcoin I'm
Yeah.
talking. A transaction with Bitcoin can take 20 minutes to an hour. That's not going to work. You imagine going to the supermarket and getting in line, and you go to try and pay, and it takes 20 minutes for the transaction to go through. The people behind you are going to wring your neck. That's not going to work. If you look at the ISO compliant tokens, they are made for lightning fast speed. They're literally doing hundreds of thousands of transactions a second. That's what they were made for. So in my opinion, Bitcoin was a prototype. And, for those of you that are in the crypto club thing, I went through a whole thesis of, how this all started, and, how it all came to be and all that. And it's pretty fascinating stuff. But we are on the cusp of a real revolution here. You're going to see in probably the next 24 months, you're going to see the whole world go upside down. And I'm saying upside down in a good way if you're on the right side of that fence, and possibly in a bad way if you're not. So, yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Don't you think that something like Bitcoin, as such a huge entity, is going to do something about the speed of transaction and ISO compliance?
They can't. It's the system it's built on. They'd
Wow.
have to. It's just not.
That's crazy. And then, do you want to mention any like brief updates about XRP?
XRP, I believe, is going to be the standard. And I've been stockpiling it for 5 years. When I started buying it, I think it was like 18 cents. And I don't know what it is right now. It's over $3 right now. And most of that came in the last couple of months. It went up to like 50 cents. It's been bouncing around at like the 50-cent level. It couldn't seem to jump over that 50-cent level for years. And then all of a sudden, right around Thanksgiving time, it started to make its move. And it's gone from like the 50-cent level up to the $3 level within a couple of months here. And I think there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of things holding it back. And like I said, all of these have been purely speculation up to this point. That's all about to change. When they start tokenizing real world assets, the speculation will be out of the window. Regulation will be in place, and we will have a new game that the world's never seen before. I've speculatively been looking down the road to see what that game is going to look like. And I'm really excited about it. I've gone head first into it over the last 4 or 5 years, getting ready for what's about to happen. And I'm pretty excited that we're here. I think the next 2 years is going to be phenomenal. So, and again, I didn't, I'm not meaning to make this a crypto call, but if you guys want me to switch gears and go to something else, just say the word. I can go any
Well,
direction you
to
want.
bring it back to our the nature of the call, how do we go about making our websites enabled to take crypto, or is that just a little bit too far down the future at the moment?
We're just a shade premature for that. That was what the original
Oh,
question.
that's what Richard asked. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was like, "How do we start taking
Oh
crypto?"
God, help us all.
And it's I'm sure there are some platforms that are ready. I know Stripe
PayPal.
is
PayPal takes
real
them.
close. Yeah, PayPal is going over the edge. So we're real close. But again, since regulation is not in place, a lot of the big providers are really hesitant to
Yeah.
push that envelope open just yet. But like I said, I think that is going to change really quickly in the next few months. So if we had this conversation again halfway through the year, I might be telling you a whole different story. But we're very close, and I know for one, I would prefer to get paid in crypto right now versus dollars.
Me
So
too. I'd prefer to get paid in XRP.
yeah, yeah, it's really interesting. Like I'll tell you, just full transparency. I won't tell you how much, but I've made more in the last 12 months with what I've prepared. It's like I said, I spent 5 years getting here, 5 years preparing and stockpiling and doing what I've done. And all of that's been shared, throughout the journey in that crypto club that I put together. But right here in the last year, I've made more from just sitting and riding this wave than I have in all of my other businesses combined over the last probably 5 years. So me working for 5 years versus just sitting riding a wave, the wave has made me more money. And the wave is just a ripple so far. No pun intended. Ripple is the company that makes XRP. It hasn't
John,
even turned into
this
a
is
wave yet. Yeah, go
John.
ahead.
These are all. The reason I'm bringing it up is because it's crypto, and this is not a crypto call, but crypto is really adjacent to, oh, how about us getting paid? And so that's why I'm bringing it up. And the other thing I'm bringing up is that my wife is more into systems, and she's worked at the global level in a number of different programs and stuff. And apparently, if you really get into finance, don't quiz me on this, but there is yin and yang financial systems, and supposedly the best thing is when you actually have them paired so that you have both aspects of that. And unfortunately, we're in the one right now that's all about greed and money and, and that sort of stuff, which means that as soon as there is no cash, people will create something that will operate like cash that is outside of crypto. And I'm wondering if you even entertained that thought, or maybe they'll give you something to put into your thinking cap going forward, is that it's, and she uses sort of a crusty examples. In prison, there's no currency in prison, but cell phones or cigarettes or
Cigarettes, yeah.
condoms or whatever, they come up with alternative forms of currency, and it doesn't have to be dollars and cents. So what happens when we go paperless and it's crypto? I don't imagine you have even given this a thought, but give it a thought and bring it up on the next crypto call.
Well, no, I have actually thought about it. And I don't think that I don't think that cash money is going to just automatically disappear overnight. I think it's going to take a while for that transition to take place. But if you think about it, they started this transition 10 years ago. I don't know if you remember back that far or if you traveled at that point, but about 10 years ago, the airlines that are governed and run by the government started to remove cash from the system. They went cashless. They were the first ones to go cashless. So you were not allowed to use cash. Cash was no good on an airplane. So this started 10 years ago. This has been a very slow moving belt. And I think they did that to see how are people going to react. Number one, how are they going to react? Are they going to like revolt and like throw a shit fit? Or are they going to comply and it's going to be okay? And this will be the first step in getting them used to it. And they complied. It was cool. And then, you've got this huge move to ATM cards. Most people now don't carry cash. They carry their ATM card. That's digital money, folks. You're already using it. So they've been preparing us and they've been conditioning us to make this so it's not a shock. So it's already here. It's been here for a long time. Nobody just recognized it for what it was.
Actually, we're behind some other parts of the world.
Oh yeah.
I was in China in 2019, which is now 6 years ago.
Cheers, yeah.
And they have an app called WeChat, which is like it's like a whole bunch of social media all in one, and texting, and then it's also a payment app, which is what Elon Musk is talking about doing with X, where he's talking about putting a payment with inside X. But WeChat already has that, and so you can pay friends like you do with Venmo or PayPal or Zelle, but that's built into this app called WeChat. And we went out to this place where it was like a food court. We were told by the hotel to go there, and we went there, and literally, when you talk about your money is no good here, we had Chinese cash and we had credit cards, and we could not get anyone, like we like needed to eat. And finally, someone who pitied us paid the vendor with WeChat, and we just gave them cash for handling it for us. But literally, when you talk about your money is no good here, we don't want your money. There is no money there. Everyone is paying for everything using this app.
Yeah.
And that was 6 years ago.
Yeah. Well, more recently, like up to current date, there's a large organization that's forming called the BRICS nations, and they are forming basically to revolt against the US dollar being the worldwide currency. We are the global reserve currency currently. And they don't like that, because it's been weaponized against them. So they're trying to get away from the US dollar. I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but the reason that the US dollar has been the world reserve currency is because back in, I believe it was 74, we were taken off the gold standard. And then I believe it was Kissinger, don't hold me accountable for bad history, but I believe it was Kissinger that went over and negotiated a deal in Saudi Arabia, and they traded our military support and protection for a petro deal where all petroleum products out of Saudi Arabia had to get paid for in US dollars. So every country around the world that needed and used oil, which is all of them, had to purchase their oil in US dollars. It was the petrodollar agreement. So that's how the US dollar has become the world reserve currency. It had to be used for buying petroleum products from Saudi Arabia. That agreement expired. It was a 50-year contract. So if you go from 1974, when's the expiration date? 2024. It expired and they did not renew it.
And aren't they in the BRICS agreement? Isn't Saudi Arabia in BRICS?
They are now.
Yeah, and if it goes down, we'll be a third world country before you can sneeze.
So we have the ace in the hole, though. We are going to not allow that to happen. And, love him, hate him, doesn't matter. Trump understands this game and he has the ace in his pocket to make sure we remain a world currency, world reserve currency. And it's an American-based crypto company that's going to make it happen. And this game has been
that's the ace, John. We're going to create. Is that the ace, or
it's not going to create? It's already created. It's been in the making for 10 years. So you're going to see all of this roll out, and I believe it. And again, not financial advice or anything even close remote to it, but I think we're going to see the biggest transfer of wealth in human history happen over the next probably 24 months. And it's already begun. That's where I was saying I've made more in the last couple months than in the last 5 years combined, just from riding it. So you guys might want to do your homework and do your research and take a look outside and see what's going on, because the world is changing. It's doesn't have anything to do with marketing. And I apologize if we're getting off the rails for what you came here for on this call, but I think it's important. It wouldn't have gone down this path. You guys can all thank Richard for derailing us on the story.
I think it's been
John,
fascinating.
This is all real, John, and it's adjacent to what we're doing because it is going to affect us. And by the way, this whole thing with the reserve currency, and technically, by the way, John, the reason we became the world currencies, we won World War II. That's when it started. Yeah. And so everybody wanted to be like it. But this whole cycle of what you're talking about, making these agreements, and now all of a sudden people are starting to challenge the US dollar as a currency. This is the third or fourth time in human history this has happened. The Dutch did it, the British did it. I mean, this is a cycle that goes on and on. The question is, can we break it this time and do something different than start this whole damn cycle over again? I think that the crypto and the reimagining of the entire global financial system, that might be a big enough disruptor to change that historical cycle for us. But I mean, this is all stuff that's being coined, pardon the pun, but I mean, this is happening right now, right alongside of, John's talked about it many times, is we are literally on the verge of, oh, by the way, we hit artificial general intelligence on the 20th of December, the first level of it. That wasn't supposed to happen for 45 to 50 years. With that, AI will now be able to finish perfecting fusion, which means we'll have unlimited power, and they're about a half a step away from unlimited memory because of the quantum computing. That with crypto, that with we've got AI and all this stuff coming together. This is something. It's the next. You won't recognize this planet, as John says, in 5 years. I don't think we can even imagine what's going to be happening. I mean, they've commercially deployed totally autonomous working robots on automobile assembly lines and BMW. That happened back in August, by the way, and it assembled a whole BMW chassis start to finish perfectly with no human input whatsoever. I mean,
and no lights on and no heat or air conditioning, so they saved a fortune. They don't need to heat or air condition anything in any of those facilities because there's no humans.
Well, they're saying, they said AI would be, was supposed to be 45 years out in the future. They also said that all human basic labor activities will be taken over by autonomous androids by 2100. I don't think it's going to take that long. I think we may see it before 2050. That's my nickel's worth of advice. But this is all adjacent to what we're doing here. And if we don't know what this is going on, all the great marketing in the world is not going to matter if, oh yeah, they changed the rules, which is what we're talking about doing, is the rule change, because all the rules are going out the door, just wholesale gone.
Yeah.
And I got to live long enough to see it. So it's going to be really kind of weird.
Well, just as a point of reference, I've made reference to this making more than me actually working. Just as a point of reference, we started this call 52 minutes ago, and in 52 minutes, I'm up over $30,000 in the last 52 minutes. That's
what did XRP do, John?
Well, it's not just XRP, it's my whole crypto portfolio of everything.
Yeah, but your XRP is 75%, so it probably went up a penny, and John made 30 grand.
Well, it's at $3.37 now. It was in the $2 range yesterday. So that may not sound like a lot, but I've been stacking it for 5 years, so I have a fair amount. But anyway, I mean, this is going on, it's going on like right now. So it's pretty exciting stuff. And I started talking about it. I created, I'm all about creating value and new things to roll out, new things to sell. I just out of thin air, I created the crypto club. Like, I don't know, it was probably three or 4 years ago. And my general thesis for it was
2020, when
was
we were
it
all
2020?
panicking. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And when it started out, we just kept getting together, and then you asked everybody in this group who would like to join, and that's what happened.
Yeah. So I started that out saying, I'm going to do something that, you probably all think I'm batshit crazy, but it's a 5-year plan, and I think it's going to work out really well. And anybody that wants to go along for the ride and watch me do it, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'll tell you why I'm doing it. Not financial advice. I can't advise you there, but you can just watch me be crazy. And that's how it started. And here we are 5 years down the road, and I was just about right on the money with the time frame. So might be a little bit longer, but I think it'll be worth the ride. But that's something, I made money sharing information. When you do digital products, you guys can literally make money out of thin air for information. If you have any kind of proprietary information, it doesn't even have to be your information. It doesn't have to be proprietary to you. It could be research that you've done. In my case, that's exactly what it was. It was nothing more than just research that I had done, piecing things together. And I'm pretty good at like algorithms. I've had some experience with that, with SEO. And I can look at a very broad, advanced set of circumstances and make predictive outcomes of what I think is going to happen based on what's going on now, what's happened in the past. And for the most part, here's how I do it. For the most part, I put myself in as a third party, and just like on a chessboard, like, what should the king do? What should the king be concerned with? What's the queen's role? How's she going to play in to protect the king? All that stuff. And I ask myself, if this were me, like in Google's case, I said, if I were Google and I know what's going on the chessboard, what would I do next? And I was right every time. every time I predicted what Google was going to do before they did it because of that reasoning and thought process. And all I did was I just removed that from search and took it into crypto and looked at what's going on here. What's the playing field? What's the chessboard look like? Who are the pawns? Who are the kings? Who are the rooks? What's being moved around on the global chessboard, and why, and what would I do? If I were those pieces on the board, what would I do? And that's pretty much how I've kind of pieced together my thesis. And so far, it's been right every step of the way. Sometimes the timing, might have been off or whatever, but the general thesis has been right on the money. And I think it still is. So pretty exciting. Delilah, go ahead.
Yes, exciting times. I do have a question, a specific one. I'm super excited. I actually ended up buying more domain names than I anticipated. Like,
I was hoping you'd come up with that question.
yeah. So it has to do with my domains. Because I want to get I'm gonna help you get the white label set up as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And so I went ahead and I did buy epicaiventures.com, but I
Okay.
also bought like supercryptogirl.ai and then, filmproductionai.com, those types of domains. But what I wanted to say is since I'm targeting a few different categories, one being a tool for the production companies, and then a tool for crypto, and then a tool for, other, I'm thinking maybe the epicaiventures.com is the one we should use, right?
Yeah. Since your company is Epic Ventures, I think that's a perfect fit. In fact,
Mhm.
you don't happen to have epicventures.com, do you?
I was gonna buy it a while back, but
Okay, so it's not available.
no. Yeah.
Okay, in that case, I would say epicaiadventures.com is the perfect domain for you.
Yeah. And it's not adventures, it's ventures.
Adventure. Okay.
Yeah, ventures.
So I think that's the perfect fit for your brand. And it also it's non-specific. So you could use that under the crypto girl, super crypto girl. You could use that under, in the acting field, movie making. You could pretty much go any direction.
That's great. And then I did buy a couple movie making ones, and I also did buy supercryptogirl.ai just in case if later I needed to become more specific.
Yeah.
But I think for now it's good. We'll start there. And then you mentioned you needed something about my DNS. Is that
Yes.
something I need to send to you, or what?
So did you buy it in GoDaddy, or where'd you buy
I
the
did. I bought it from GoDaddy because you said it was easier to
Okay.
set
Yeah,
it up.
yeah, it's a piece of cake. So I can either log in there with you and walk you through it, or I can send you the stuff if you're familiar with DNS and GoDaddy and all that. I can just send you the info. Like Gina's ready for me to send it. I haven't sent it to her. Uh-oh, I'm in
You can
trouble.
definitely send it to me. I do have some meetings until about 5 o'clock this evening, so I may not be able to get to it until later. Is it okay if I get it to you later tonight?
Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay, fantastic.
No problem. So if you've got the epicaiadventure.com,
Mhm.
that's what it is, right?
Epic AI Ventures.
Ventures, that's right. Okay, epicaiventures.com. I would I would probably use a subdomain of that in case you ever want to use the main domain for an actual website.
Ooh,
You
okay.
don't
What would a
have to,
subdomain be?
yeah, you don't have to, but I would leave it open because usually like this is a software. You're white labeling a software. So the software is actually going to run on your white label, which has to have a URL. But if you use the subdomain of the URL, that compartmentalizes the software under that subdomain. And you're not burning the whole domain just to run the software. So eventually you could run a website on the main domain that had all of your company ventures on there. And then that would be your software under that subdomain. Like you could use app dot, or you could
Do
use
I need to buy that
app.
domain too? like an
No,
app?
no, no. You don't have to buy any subdomains.
Okay.
Subdomains are free. You set those up in the DNS.
Oh, great. Okay.
So we can log into your GoDaddy account. We can create all the subdomains you want. So if you had later on, you might decide, hey, I want to white label some other software. You would just create another subdomain, and then that software would run under that one under your main domain. So from a strategic standpoint, when you're creating a white label or a software or anything, even a shopping cart, like a Kartra shopping cart, I run the Kartra shopping cart under a subdomain of my internet dominators. So you can have an unlimited amount of subdomains. So you can be really diverse. I run my billing software for my hosting company, again, under a subdomain of internet dominators. So I probably have 12 different subdomains
That's
where
great.
where different systems are running all under one common umbrella. So the common umbrella becomes your main hub. That's your business website. I would encourage everybody to build like a brand. Your brand is your top level. Like for me, it's Internet Dominators. I have a lot of different business ventures, but they're all kind of under that one hood of Internet Dominators. So it makes you look bigger than you are. And, in some cases, we don't want to look big. We're all like want to go on diets, but in this case, big is better. So, in appearance, they say, you don't get a second chance at a first impression. If somebody comes to your website and they see, oh wow, they got a lot going on. This is a real company. This is a real deal here. That impression will last forever. Versus if they come on and they see you got a one-page website that doesn't really go anywhere or do anything, that's an impression too. So you want to set up like when you're building the website is the front end of your business. That's like your greeting card. If you've got a crappy greeting card that you printed on a Xerox printer that, when you hand it to somebody, they're going to get ink on their fingers. That's an impression you probably don't want to leave in business. So,
John, that goes back to what Craig always says about the business cards. And he talks about,
yeah,
imagine Bono from U2 coming up and handing you a business card. Said, I'm playing at the Forum tonight. Will you come see my concert? You know what I mean? That's what you look like. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So you want to look like the Forum. You want your business to look like the Forum, and you've got all these artists coming in and all this stuff going on and all of that. So figure out, and sometimes it's kind of hard to do. We all do a lot of different stuff, and sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out, what is our umbrella. But in Delilah's case, she's got the Epic Ventures. So that is her main umbrella that should house all of her stuff. She could do children's books under that umbrella. She could do anything. She could do acting. She could do crypto. She could do merchant processing, all under that one umbrella. She could run a travel agency. And all of these things, they're all white labelable. It's really easy to find somebody that is running a successful business. Like I threw out travel agent. You guys know you can all be a travel agency. You can white label a travel agency and own your own travel agency. And all it is a replicated website. You tell people, yeah, go book your travel on my website, and you make money. You don't have to do anything.
Oh my gosh, epicventures.com looks like it might be available after all. It says there's a broker service fee. Does that mean I get it if I pay the broker service fee or no?
That does, but those brokerage service fees can be extensive. If you can get it cheap,
119
I'd buy it.
$119.
I'd buy it right now.
Okay, I'm buying it now. Thanks.
Yeah, you may be signing up for someone to bid on it for you. All right.
Think so?
Yeah, that's a fee for the broker
Yeah.
to represent
John, have her
you
share a screen so we
and
can guide her
negotiate,
through it.
and the domain might be like $10,000.
Yeah.
Should I share my screen so you can see?
Yeah.
Share your screen, let us see so we can.
But I have had
Thanks. I
clients
appreciate that.
that signed up for the broker fee. The domain was $30,000, and so they got their money refunded for the brokerage.
See, this looks like a purchase now.
Purchase, that's the brokerage fee she's purchasing.
Yeah.
Right.
You exit out of that and show us where you were at before that.
I was here, let's see, epicventures.com.
Yeah, because there's so many.
So this is what it showed me right here. It says
The
domain.
domain is taken.
Yeah, so it might be able, we might be able to help you. So yeah, that's a service fee. You're basically hiring them for $119 to go negotiate it.
Oh, but then it could be thousands and thousands of
Yes,
dollars.
yes.
It will.
There is a place in there that the one that I've done is where you can reserve it. And that's like $100 fee. I've done that sometimes and gotten a domain because they forgot to pay the bill 6 months later.
And if you scroll up, it says epicventures.ai is available.
Is that a
You
good
could buy
idea
that
to
one
get that
on the
one?
on
I
the
would buy
right.
epicventuresai.com.
Well, that's
I already bought
not-
Epic. I already got epicaiventures.com. But you're
Yeah,
thinking Epic Ventures AI also?
well, that one is available, but I really like the .coms.
Yeah, me too.
I
Yeah.
I would
I swear by .coms.
Yeah, I would highly recommend you stick to the .com. I think the one you've got is fine.
Okay, I got
You've got
epicaiventures.com.
I think that is just fine because AI is going to work its way into everything in the future. So
Mm-hmm.
I think
I
that's
did buy supercryptogirl.ai. I also have .com, but it was a little more expensive, not terribly, but it was.
I wouldn't like for you and for everybody else, I wouldn't go crazy on like buying .ai domains and .nets and .orgs and all that stuff. If you have the .com, you've got the king.
Okay.
Yeah.
You-
40%. I think it was, I read this the other day. It was like 40% of the internet is still .com internet, a
Mhm.
.com domain name.
Well, what's going to happen if you buy the .com and someone else is promoting heavily on the .ai? They're going to be pushing traffic to you
Yes.
because people are going to type in .com just by default.
Mhm.
Just by nature. They're going to type that in and they're going to wind up on your site.
And .com, you can actually play the SEO game and actually up them. Believe it or not, easier.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
John,
So I
you
don't.
might want to look at those. You might want to look at those .us, .biz, .weird things if you're doing email, because you may need 10 or 20 domains if you're going to be doing email the right way, where you're going to limit your email sending to 50 to 100 a day per URL kind of a thing.
So you're talking about these down here, like dot.
Yeah, I get whatever the cheapest ones are because it's a throwaway email that can get blacklisted, in which case you got to get rid of it anyway. So you never want to use your .com as a mass email, but all those other lower tier domains are ideal for that. But that's only if you're planning on doing an email outreach strategy where you want to do 10 or 15,000 emails a day.
Yeah, that's just for bulk email. If you're going to do bulk email, that's a requirement pretty much.
So I don't need to get that now. I can probably get them later or something. Okay, cool.
No, you're all good. You got exactly what you needed.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
So you're in good shape. You just need to decide now like what you want to call the subdomain. If you want to do app or AI or whatever you want to name your subdomain. That's really all you
It
need
already
to do.
has the AI in the name though, epicaiventures.com. So
I would just use app.
okay, I like that. But I don't need to reserve it or anything like that.
Nope, you already own it.
Okay, great. App.epicaiventures.com.
We just need to go in and set it up.
Cool. All right, I sent you an email about it. You can just reach out to me and let me know when we can set it up. Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Sounds good. And then Gina, I will send you, because I know you know how to do that. I'll send you I need to log in. I haven't had a chance to log into each one of your white labels yet and set it up there and then I'll get the instructions and then paste it over to you. So this is going to be cool. I'm actually really excited about this whole white label thing with the 4 of you guys going on the boat. And it's like we're going to build 4 businesses at sea before we come home. I'm not bringing you home till we're done. That's going to be really cool. Pretty might be the most exciting thing I think I've done yet as far as an offering. It's really cool. Launch you guys into the stratosphere. So, all right. Anything else here? We've had a couple of deep dives in different directions
All
there.
right. I want to switch gears. If
Okay.
Delilah touched on it just a little bit, and you just did now too. So, Spam House. In December, we had that conversation, and I checked Spam House, and I was not on the list. Then this morning, I replied to an email and got the Spam House marker again. So my next step is asking you is, and I looked at SendGrid at the if you get a regular if I get a regular SendGrid account that's not connected to my Kartra account, like right now we have SendGrid through Kartra.
Yes.
If I get an independent account from SendGrid to take care of people who are not yet in my Kartra funnel, would that avoid Spam House?
No. You don't really need a second account. You don't need a second account for the mail. As far as SendGrid goes, because you can manually log into SendGrid and use SendGrid to send your mail completely outside of Kartra.
Oh,
And that's the whole reason why you connect SendGrid to Kartra anyway.
right.
Like if you've got lists, I've got some lists that when they come in, they're not real guaranteed. It's like I do some giveaway sites where I give away free stuff, and you get a lot of people that they'll put in bogus emails and stuff. And I don't want all that garbage going through my Kartra account because I don't want to get flagged for being low quality. So whenever I have those kind of deals, I have all of the autoresponders, the sequences, the emails. I have all of that go over SendGrid, not through the Kartra mailer.
Okay.
And it kind of protects my Kartra mail and keeps that crystal clean for just customers and people that are active and I'm actively, interacting with you.
So going back to just a basic question is, I get an email, I sent the response out, the response got hit by Spam House. So if I get an email and I go to SendGrid and send it to SendGrid, then it should be able to get past Spam House and get to the. Because like right now, I try to reach my patent attorney, and because the Spam House, I got into the truth, so I had to go to his website and ask him, please call me, and he just called me a few minutes ago.
Yeah, so if you're on the Spam House list, it doesn't matter if you're using SendGrid or your regular mail. As long as it's on that domain, they're going to block you. So if that's the case, you'll get a bounce back and it'll have the error. It'll tell you the problem. It'll tell you you're blocked. It'll tell you who's blocking you. And it generally will have a link there to clean your email. And spammers won't do that. A spammer is not going to go in and clear his email. So if you're a legit, that's why they give you that link. You contact them through that link and you request that you be whitelisted. And sometimes, it can take a few days for that to actually happen.
I don't mind the days as long as it gets done.
Yeah. But that's why they send you that bounce back message.
Okay.
It's very clear. It says who's blocking it and it says how to clear your email address.
Right.
So
I saw that was going to follow. But the thing was that what really got me annoyed or whatever was I haven't talked to my patent attorney in 5 years. And something popped up on my radar this morning that I said, I need to get a hold of the patent attorney. So I got a hold of him and I sent it to my Gregory Santana account. And that's when it got bounced back. And I said, wait a minute, he's not even, he him and I haven't talked in 5 years. Spam House wasn't even maybe around in 5 years ago.
Yeah, well, see, it doesn't matter when you get listed on Spam House. Anyone that you're trying to mail that is protected by them is going to block you.
Okay.
So
Okay. So
it's more
okay.
of a global block for anybody that's using Spam House to protect their mail.
Okay, so maybe he's registered with them for protection,
Yeah, and it
and just
doesn't.
because he's for the protection, and I happen to come through that. Okay.
Yeah, and it might not be him specifically registered. It might be his email provider.
Mm.
Like Google, if anybody on Gmail is protected by Spam House, anybody on Outlook, anybody on Hotmail, they all use Spam House. So if you get on the Spam House list, your mail is going to be very, very restricted.
Okay.
So you want to make sure if you ever get one of those bounce emails and you find out that your domain is being blocked by one of those entities, you want to clear it like immediately.
Yeah,
That's
well,
a
that's my
big
next step
problem.
after I wanted to talk to you and get this out of the way and follow through on that exactly. Okay.
And it's
So,
not something that you have to lose sleep over and worry, oh my God, am I getting blocked? You'll get a bounce back email. You'll know. Like if you go and try and send me a message and you get an email bounce back that says your message can't be delivered because you're being blocked here by who and where, and here's how to clear yourself. You'll know you need to deal with that. You need to take care of that.
okay. So the email is going through Thunderbird, which is
That's fine.
the
It doesn't matter how
OS.
you're sending it.
Okay.
You can send it through Thunderbird, you can send it through Outlook, you can send it through Gmail, Kartra, SendGrid. It doesn't matter how you send it. It'll bounce back if there's a problem, and then you just deal
As
with
long
it.
as it's identified as long as it's being identified as a Greggy at GreggySantana.com, that's the blocker.
Yeah,
That's the block that needs to be taken out.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, got
Because
it.
you really don't want your domain to be blocked.
No, and when we talked about this back in December, I went and checked, and I went to the site. I typed in the domain, typed in the email, and said, "No, you're not on the list." And now this morning, I got I sent out an email to a business expo who wants me to buy a table at their place, and I emailed them back says I'm not interested, and then it bounced back at me, and I said okay, and then I had to call Tony, the guy, and tell him, hey, what's going on here? And he didn't have an answer, but now I know your answer, so now
Well,
I know why he didn't have an answer. Got it.
there's a number of triggers that can get you blocked. It doesn't mean you're sending a bunch of mail. Like in your case, you've got a stack of business cards, right? And you might be sending out messages to that stack of business cards. That stack of business cards might be 2 years old.
Oh well, no, this was the I was what I did was I went to the recent emails and I was sending them the Christmas greeting. So
Okay.
I was responding to their email. It wasn't a cold
Yeah.
email.
So you're responding to spammers.
Well, there's businesses that contacted me through the holidays about asking if I wanted to have a virtual assistant. Do we want to this
Exactly. So you're
okay.
responding to spammers is
That's
what you're doing.
still spammers?
Those are all spammers. Yeah. They're all
Okay, well
sending
then
bulk
I'm gonna start killing people off the list then. All right.
So most of those spammers are using those throwaway emails that Richard was talking about. So it's like when you email them, you're communicating with a bad neighborhood. And when you do that, enough times, and Spam House is going to say, "Oh yeah, this guy, we don't want him. It's guilt by association." So anything that you're doing that's causing a negative impact on your email is going to get you closer and closer to getting blocked by Spam House. They have a lot of different triggers, and in some cases, it might not take too many. Like let's say, for instance, you're sending to Gmail addresses, and you send to 5 Gmail addresses that are no good in a day. That could be enough for Spam House to say, "Oh, this guy's sending spam. He's sending to addresses that don't even exist." And there's a lot of also there's honeypots. There are people out there that put these honeypot addresses out for spammers to catch. And then when the spammer sends to that honeypot gets them banned immediately. So there's all kinds of traps and triggers with email. But like I said, you don't have to lose sleep over it. If you don't have to wonder if you've been blocked. You'll know. You send an email to somebody you know and it bounces back when it should have gone through, and you'll have the message right there, what you need to do.
So so the thing is, like, there's a company and I already unsubscribed from their list, and they're still sending me stuff 3 or 4 times a day. So I need to report
That's
them to Spam
spamming.
House then? And how they're getting around it, I don't know. I want to find that is the curiosity.
Yeah,
Okay.
When you try and opt out, when you try and opt out, you'll find that what you're actually doing is subscribing to a spammer list.
Yeah, that happens in a lot of cases. That opt out, all you did was you just told them that was a valid email address, and now they're going to hit it 10 times as hard.
Okay, I'm still learning this stuff then. All right,
So
thank you.
I used the Thunderbird for my mail, and in Thunderbird they've got a thing called filters. And you can go in and you can create a filter, and you can filter by anything. You can filter by recipient, you can filter by subject line. And I've noticed when I find a subject line that starts with, the symbols and stuff, I know that's garbage. That's spam. And I'll go in there and I'll say, okay, any mail that comes through with a subject line that has this included in it, just send it to the trash. I don't even want to see it. So that way it doesn't junk up your mailbox. You're not replying to it. You're not even seeing it. It's just not even on your radar. As a host, I've been doing web hosting for companies since 1995, and we've got quite a few servers now, and we've got firewalls in front of all of our servers. We block over 1 million messages an hour. 1 million per hour at our firewalls that are protecting our servers. So that gives you an idea of the scope and the magnitude. In the hosting business, I am a little tiny fish. I'm probably not even a minnow. I'm a plankton in the scheme of things. And if a plankton is blocking 1 million messages an hour, you can imagine the scope of the problem. It's unfathomable how much garbage spam email is being sent across the internet at any given time. So, if you have to go through a couple of hoops to clear your mail, be thankful there are people like me out there blocking the millions of them that you're not having to see. You just have to do the final cleanup. We're brunting a lot of punishment on the front end for you. So back in the day, we actually had spammers that when we blocked them, they would just throw fire at us. They would try and take our servers down and do ping attacks and just all kinds of crap. Luckily, that kind of is the thing of the past. We haven't had to deal with that in a long, long time, but it's been quite a journey. So, all right. Anything else before we wrap up here? Hopefully we've thrown out some valuable information.
Hey, John, would you kindly send me the quantum link when you have a chance?
I had you on my mind even before you showed up on the call.
Well, there you go. You had McLean on the brain.
I was going to send it before the call, and then I got a call and all hell broke loose. So.
Oh, man.
The shipyard called.
You're spinning a lot of plates. Good news, it's still on the cradle.
It's still on the cradle. Everything's good. We're on track.
All right.
We got our props sent out and everything. There's a lot of moving parts in that shipyard going on right now with that boat. But
yeah.
we're on schedule and be back in the water next week.
Buck, I'm glad you brought up the boat, because have you seen those props things where they're supposed to like increase your efficiency by 150%? It's a really funny looking prop. What is that about?
There there's a lot of different schemes of props to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Uh,
most of them are
yeah.
yeah, most of them are for smaller boats. I've got some pretty good sized props sitting under mine.
You're not going to fall for that ploy where they take playing cards with a clothespin and put it on your prop so it makes that badass motor noise, like a bicycle when we were kids.
Oh, that's classic. I did find out I was overpropped, so they're shearing the props down and changing the pitch slightly. So they're claiming I'm going to get better fuel efficiency and go a lot faster doing it.
Oh, it's
Wow.
like selling sneakers. Jump higher, run faster, jump higher.
Yeah, so I'm
Well,
like, I'm all about more speed and fuel efficiency.
well,
So
you got the records to be able to back test it and see if it's really true.
yeah, we will find out this round. So good stuff. I should have actually done that last time because I was told that was the case before we hauled out last time, and so I've suffered for 3 years. So this time we're going to get it right, put it back in, and we'll get 3 years of good stuff.
Oh, so you had a second opinion. Some that's a big thing, but you had a second opinion on that.
Yeah, actually multiple opinions, and then the prop guy himself. This guy is like, there's one guy that does all the props for all of Southern California. And I talked to him yesterday and I was telling him at what rate we were getting, at what speed and all this and RPM. And he's like, oh, he goes, son, you're way over propped. He goes, we need to get you an extra 500 RPM out of for those engines. And he told me exactly how he was going to do it. I'm like, all right, you get on down with your bad self.
Nice. Great. That's awesome. That's an unexpected
But that it's no inexpensive venture, I'll tell you that. It's a couple $1,000s per propeller to have them tuned like that. So you guys all know the meaning of boat, right? BOAT.
Bust out another 1,000.
Yeah, it's bust out another 1,000, and in my case, it's bust out another 10.
Yeah. Well, it's also said that the best day of your life is the day you sell your boat. Actually, the way the joke goes is the day you buy your boat is the second best day of your life.
Yeah.
The best day of your life is the day you sell it.
I have heard that, but I have not found that to be true because I've
You
had
love your
boats
boat.
my whole life.
And you also use it. If you don't use your boat and it sits, you end up having maintenance problems with your boat from
Yeah,
sitting. And
yeah,
then you're constantly spending money on it and not sufficiently enjoying it. But
yeah.
you enjoy your boat. So
I run
you have a
that way.
different situation going on.
I actually checked. I keep a fuel log. In the last 3 years, since it was in the shipyard last 3 year period, I've run over 10,000 gallons of fuel through that thing.
So
So
you idled the dock for an hour?
it's got some running time. It has definitely got some running time.
Well, thank you for sharing it, John. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's put a lot of smiles on a lot of people's faces. Whether it's looking at Christmas lights or chasing dolphin or catching fish. And coming up next week, we'll be building businesses on it. So multi-purpose tool. Awesome platform. So, all right. Anything else before we wrap up? No, that's it. We're all good for this week. You guys have all had enough of me.
Oh,
enough of my nonsense.
I have to say gratitude and thank you for clearing up more of the spam house thing because it's really been heavy on my mind. So
Yeah,
I'm going to be getting on to and getting to them. I already pre-wrote something. Now I got to just polish it up and get it to them.
awesome. Good
Thank
job. Keep your mail clear. That's the name of the game.
And
Thanks, John. Great call.
Oh, and quickie, I showed off my AI. I had I went to a mixer and I called up my own site and I had Nikki answer some questions and several people were astonished.
That's awesome.
And I said, and I didn't pre-write all of that. She just got educated. She went out and just give her the answer. And one guy's eyes was like popping. So that's be live demos. Like what do you say? Three-dimensionalize it. Make him get in the car, have him feel it, have him touch the wheel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The bots are really cool. When you put a bot on your site, it will learn. It'll learn your stuff. I mean, you give it the training, you give it the tools and the training, but it will actually learn as it goes. They're pretty powerful.
I was even impressed when Nikki gave an answer to one particular person. I was like, whoa. And he went on and says, oh, I know these 4 things, but I don't know the other 4 that she talked about.
Yeah. In a lot of cases, they'll know more than you do.
Yeah. The next thing would be is I can't, I haven't attempted, and I'm gonna attempt opening up Quantum AI on my phone. Cause I want to do it through my laptop. So I want to open up the AI suites on my phone because a realtor looked at Listing Pro and she wanted to see it operate, and I didn't have Listing Pro. I showed off my own bot at my own site, but I didn't go to my Quantum account to actually access tools.
Yeah.
So
I have not played with it on a phone. I'm not sure how it's going to come across on a phone.
Well, this afternoon I'm dedicating a couple hours to doing it because I have a mixer tonight, in Irvine, so I'm gonna take and show because this is techie people that are gonna be there.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right. Well, we will go ahead and wrap up for this week. We'll be back on regular time next week, and just right after next week's call, we're off to the high seas. All right, guys, have a great week, and we will talk to you soon.
Take care, John. Bye.
Thank you, John.